morning. How are you? It's Tuesday. You know what that means? It's Torah Tuesday. Yay! Boker Tov. It's a wonderful morning out there. The sun is shining. The birds are singing. Life is good. Okay. We got lots of good stuff to talk about. We're in the middle of a Sukkot. That's good. And Saturday night is Simchat Torah. Even better. So what is this you to speak of? I'll tell you. Right now we're on day 4. Day 4 of Sukkot. Okay? So what do we do with Sukkot? Sukkot, remember, we eat in the sukkah. What's a sukkah? 4 poles and not a solid top. You're supposed to be able to see the stars at night. Okay? When you're sitting in the sukkah. The sukkah is made for the holiday of Sukkot. The holiday of Sukkot is the fall harvest. That's where pumpkins and squash and all that cool stuff. Okay. And why do we celebrate Sukkot? Because the Torah tells us to. The Torah tells us to celebrate 4 holidays. Pesach, Shavuot, and what is Pesach? Passover, the leaving of Egypt. Shavuot, the giving of the Torah on Sinai. Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, which just did that. And the 4th and final is Shavuot, the fall harvest. Okay? So, how do we celebrate this? We celebrate it for a week. And every day we read from the Torah. Saturday, we started reading from Leviticus. And the rest of the week we're reading from Numbers. Special portions. Okay? Special portions just for Sukkot. Okay? Every year, same portions, same stuff. Okay? And then we'll culminate it with Simchat Torah on Saturday night this year. And right? Yeah. Saturday night this year. And Simchat Torah is where we end the Torah and we begin the Torah. Okay? So Simchat Torah we read the last part of Deuteronomy, which we'll go over in a second. And then we read the first part of Genesis, and it's really cool. Okay? Now, Sukkot, we do what we call shake the lulav. Okay? And we have a couple different symbols. Okay? There's a lulav, that's the palm branch. Okay? And you've got the estrog, which I don't have a picture to show you. I'm sorry. I thought I had one. It looks like a lemon on steroids, but it isn't. It's a big old thing. It's a citrus fruit. It looks like a lemon, but it's not. It's the same family, but it isn't. And it's got this big, and it's got this end to it that you can't break off. It's a big no-no. And what you do with it afterwards is people either use it for juice or they use it in recipes. And I find it very tart and very, not really my thing, but a lot of people in Israel use it for pastries and stuff. So what you do with the lulav is you take the lulav and you take the estrog and you take it and you shake, right? Big shaking. And you say the brachas, you shake to the north, you shake to the east, you shake to the south, you shake to the west, you shake to the ground, you shake to the heavens. Okay? And that's what we call the lulav shake. Okay? Purpose for that? Well, think about it. Okay? Is we're talking about, this Shavuot is what again? The fall harvest. So, of course, we're making a big deal of what's coming out of the ground. And we're making a big deal out of life, confirmation of life. Okay? So, we're supposed to eat in the Sukkot every night, if we can. Okay? Sukkah, I'm sorry. The physical structure. A lot of people have dinner in there. Back in the day, and people in Israel actually sleep in it. Okay? Actually sleep in it, and of course, unless the weather is otherwise, but then you come inside for obvious reasons. But it's really neat because you make a big deal out of the sukkah, and you go around and you make what we call a sukkah parade, and people could drive around. It's like, when they do the Christmas lights and the fancy, the over the top lights and all that stuff at Christmas time. Same difference with sukkah. Okay, you come to see somebody's sukkah, and it's a real honor to get invited to somebody's house for dinner or something for sukkah. Let's eat under the sukkah and enjoy ourselves. It's a real big deal. Okay, so that's sukkah. Sukkot. Okay. Now, at the end of Sukkot is Simchat Torah. Simchat Torah is where we end the Torah and we begin the Torah anew. Okay? So, we get this wonderful poem that we say. First of all, the Parsha, the Torah portion. The first part of the Torah portion is Deuteronomy 14 to 31, I believe it is. And it's about kosher, keeping kosher. Okay? You shall not eat anything abhorrent. There are the animals that you may eat: the ox, the sheep, the goat, the deer, the gazelle, the roebuck, the rosebuck. No, the roebuck, I was right. The wild goat, the ibex, the antelope, the mountain sheep, and any other animal that has true hoofs, which are cleft in two and bring up the cud, such you may eat. But the following which do not bring up the cud, or have true hoofs, which are cleft though, you may not eat: the camel, the hare, and the daman. For although they bring up their cud, they have no true hoofs. They are unclean for you. Also the swine, for although it has true hoofs, it does not bring up its cud, is unclean for you. You shall not eat of their flesh or touch their carcasses. By the way, there's a misconception that the reason we don't eat pork, we don't eat swine, is because it's a dirty animal. In actuality, it's not a dirty animal. It's because of this. Okay, it has hooves, but it doesn't chew its cud. Okay, is the reason we don't do that. And then after we get done with that, it talks about tzedakah. We keep talking about that tzedakah, don't we? Kosher and tzedakah, and then of course keeping Shabbat. Okay, and then we end the Torah with this amazing Deuteronomy 33, with this amazing poem. Okay, this is the blessing with which Moses, the man of God, bade the Israelites farewell before he died. He said, "The Lord came from Sinai. He shone upon them from Seir." Oh, it's amazing. It's an amazing poem. Okay, if I read it all, it'll take too long. It will take too long. I'll just read the end of it. Well, actually, that is it. O happy Israel, who is like you, a people delivered by the Lord. Your protecting shield, your sword triumphant. Your enemies shall come cringing before you, and you shall tread on their backs. Then Moses went up the steps of Moab to Mount Nebo, to the summit of Pisgah, opposite Justine, and the Lord showed him the whole land. Now here's the drag. He gets to see it. He gets to look at it. But then he dies. He never gets to see it. Whom the Lord singled out face to face for the various signs and portents that the Lord sent him to display in the land of Egypt, against Pharaoh and all his couriers and his whole country, and for all that great might and awesome power that Moses displayed before all Israel. And that's it. And that's the end of Deuteronomy. That's the end of the Torah. Okay. The story picks up again on the prophet Joshua. Picks up in Nitzavim, the prophets. Okay. So, Simchat Torah, we read Deuteronomy, the end of Deuteronomy, and then we read the beginning of, because we have to start again, we read the beginning of Bereshit, and in the beginning. Okay. We start it all over again. Okay. And what a lot of congregations do now, it's really neat, is they unroll the Torah. and everybody in the congregation gets to hold it. Okay? You don't put your hands on the text, but you get to hold the edge. Okay? And the rabbi or the cantor will go and read from Deuteronomy. They go read from Genesis, and then they roll the Torah back up. It's just the coolest. I'm not kidding about this. If you ever get a chance to do this, you must see it. It's just amazingly cool. Okay? And then it's actually like a wedding, and everybody dances around with Torahs, and it's just amazing. It's a big party. Okay? It literally is like a wedding. It's just amazing. Okay? Obviously, you're very careful because it's Torah. I mean, you're dealing with Torahs, but it's a major party. It's a lot of fun, and it's very, very important because next week is Bereshit. Start all over again. Next Shabbos, next Shabbat is Bereshit. We start all over again. Something else interesting that you might like to know. There's 54 parshot. There's 54 weeks of Torah. Figure that one out. 54 weeks. How many weeks are there in the year again? 52. So, we have more parshot than we have actual physical weeks. So sometimes we have to double up. I don't know if you remember, but during our course this last year, the course of our discussions, I've been saying, oh, this is so-and-so and so-and-so. We had to double up this week. That's why, okay? Is because we have too many parshot. Because we may have 54 parshot in only 52 weeks, but we still, the holidays, if they fall on a weekend and fall on a Shabbos, they have a special reading. So they don't use the one in the cycle. So that's another one you have to double up on. Okay? So depending on the year, you could double up on a bunch of them. Okay? That's why it's technically the same parsha every week. But sometimes it might double up. And that's why. Okay? So, we talked about Sukkot, we talked about Simchat Torah, and life is good. And that's what I want to talk about today. Next week, we go back to the same cycle. We're done with holidays for 10 minutes. The next holiday is Hanukkah, and that doesn't have a special Torah portion. And that's in December. Okay? So, since we normally say Shabbat Shalom, okay, and Boker Tov, because it's good morning, or as I say, a way of saying goodbye, and Shabbat Shalom. But this week, since we're in the middle of Sukkot, we say Chag Sameach Sukkot. And then we say Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom is always last because it's most important. Okay? So Chag Sameach Sukkot, and have a wonderful Shabbat Shalom, and I will see you here next week, Tuesday, for Torah Tuesday. Okay? I'll see you next week. Peace out.